As we get into game number 1 of our finals today, it's GuMiho, it's Super, best of 5. Are you guys ready? I hope you are. To the top left side of the map, our blue Terran player is gonna be GuMiho, representing Team MVP, one of the very scary players on MVP. Is he gonna keep up MVP's 100% win rate as a team? In the Douyu Star Series last week, we saw Ryung win, we saw Forte win, we saw Pet win. All MVP players, GuMiho looking to keep that trend going in this best of 5. To the bottom left, his opponent is going to be the red Protoss player. It is going to be from Afrika Freaks, Super. So, GuMiho versus Super here. Best of 5. Game number 1. And we start things off on Ulrena as we started off that last series. And we did see in that last series alive going for a very aggressive, different sort of opening. And hey, look at what GuMiho's doing. A very similar thing. He's got 2 gases up early. He is going to start his factory. Looks very, very similar to looks very, very similar here to the start of this. So again, guys, what's up in chat? You're having a great chat today. You've been talking about Nutella pizza, which sounds very crazy. I actually had a chocolate pizza once, which isn't quite a Nutella pizza, but like, it was actually a pizza made entirely of chocolate, and then the toppings are like, it had like milk chocolate toppings and stuff on top of it. It was really cool. I think that was on my 19th birthday. I got it as a present. It was really cool. It had like milk chocolate on like toppings and loads of different fudge stuff on top as well. It was really good. I actually really liked it. It was good. Not quite a, maybe not quite a Nutella pizza in the sense that you guys are talking about. It wouldn't be that, but it depends what you mean when you say Nutella pizza. Like, do you still have like, surely you don't still have like cheese and stuff on it, right? So it's just completely different. So I think it's okay. Both players here are gonna wall off this left-hand choke point with their early supply buildings, whether it's the supply depot or the pylon. Just defending here a little bit and stopping any kind of early movements across the map, as we are going to see Widowmine play out of GuMiho coming in and burrows this just to try and help deflect his mothership core, and the Marines will come in to help push it even further back as well. Gets a few shots onto this, pulls one of their Marines back, and should be very easily able to hold on to this. So very similar opening so far from GuMiho as they saw from Alive in game number 1 of the semi-finals against Super. So I'm going to see a single Marine just moving forwards a little bit. GuMiho can look to see what he can get done with this as the mothership core. Just pulling back over to the left-hand side, pulling back in towards the main base, and Oracle comes out and will go towards the upper left as well now. And, well, Super just sort of gonna look to see if he can get some damage done. Very, very similar actually to the first game of this of that semi-final series, but now that Oracle's going to come in, it's actually going to start getting some work and kills, and there's nothing at home to defend for GuMiho. He doesn't have a Widowmine at home or anything. You know, it's all in the medevac coming across this side of the map, so... Oh, there is a Widowmine. Where? Oh, it's right in the middle of the line. Wow, okay. I didn't see that. So he does clean up the, he does clean that up, and oh my god, the mothership core now goes down to Widowmine too. So Widowmines so far have been the real saviors of this game for GuMiho. Gets rid of the Oracle after taking some damage, but gets rid of the mothership core. Another Oracle comes out though. And could get across the map and be aggressive, but maybe just needs to be here to try and help fight against this army. As now Phone Overcharge disappears, and we're going to see the probes being pulled into this. Marines going to try and fight. They're going to get rid of an Adept, and then the Stalker will be next. Oracle comes back in to try and help fight, but doesn't actually have that much energy. Why not? Would he use his energy over the other side of the map? I don't think so. He didn't kill any works with it. If he did, it's Super. At the very start of this, he's just going to have to GG out. Wow. Bit of a crazy one there. Just didn't realize momentarily when I was busy spewing words about people dying and stuff. As we jump into game 2 of this series. To the other right-hand side from Dusk Towers, it's going to be our blue Terran player. It is GuMiho. Up a game right now in this best of 5. Making things look fairly easy so far. Has not looked to be in too much trouble as we get ready to jump into the bottom left side of the map to introduce our red Protoss player. It is going to be Super. Gateway in the main base on the way up, gas as well, and I would be very surprised if we don't see both players take the early expansion, whether it's the Nexus or the Command Center. Would expect to see those up very early in the game from both players here, after whatever kind of expansion Reaper or Reactor from GuMiho, and probably in just a few moments time from Super, as he sets up into his first gate and his first gas. So probe coming across, and we'll just scout out and see it's a Rax gas opening out of GuMiho, nothing really too surprising there, and there's that probe moving on down to the low ground. We talked about this a lot in the last series, where this is a great map to kind of go up to 3 bases on, very easy to defend for both players generally. Although what happened for the problem was for Alive, he never really got to the kind of defending on 3 bases kind of thing. It's kind of a weird one where he kind of went aggressive, got aggressive with all of his units, didn't have anything really at home to defend. Of course, it's a great map to defend on, but not if you don't have any units to, in position to defend, and that's what sort of happened. And he took a lot more damage than Super did from the drops that were on the other side of the map. Super actually dealt with the drops very easily. The Photon Overcharges dealing with the Widow Mines, warping in some Stalkers with Blink to deal with the other drop with Marines inside. So he dealt with those very easily, and from there he just had enough Stalkers reinforcing on the other side of the map, and his aggression played out well for him. I think one of the last things you want to do most of the time is commit too much to aggression on the opposite side of the map if a Protoss player's being, all in into you. You want to kind of keep your units there at home. I mean, 1 drop or so is nice to force a few warpings back at home, to force some Photon Overcharges, etc. But I mean, 1 medevac and then a second medevac of units, it's a lot of units to be given up early on, especially if you're losing them and not keeping them alive. So that was kind of the problem for Alive in the semi-finals. As we see, GuMiho going to have that expansion build in reactor and a factory on the way up. So just following up from this Reaper, which is actually not moving across the map, just sitting here at the front, just sitting, waiting. So we're just sitting up on the high ground, and we're going to see a robo facility being dropped by Super. So fast robo, no Twilight this time around, so no sign of a Blink play. Maybe we just see some fast War Prism, Adept sort of stuff. There's a Twilight actually, so not too far behind, but still a little bit later than before. Splits the tech up this time around as well, so last time we saw the tech has been generally kept together. Kind of easy to scout together and so on. This time he's going to split it up a little bit in the main and the natural, so that one scan doesn't give away all the information. As the Reaper is going to start coming across the map, and we'll start to scout this around. Scout around and look to see what's going on. So Reaper coming across here. Mothership Core goes into the main base. We're going to see Marines jumping onto that very quickly. Shields already going down. Wow, this Mothership Core is taking a lot of damage. Down to less than half health already. A single Reaper going to be jumping up in towards the main, and we'll see an Adept jumping onto that. And, well, Reaper will sort of get a scout off, and already may be able to spot the Robo facility, but maybe not the Twilight. And there he does, he sees the Robo. Does keep the Reaper alive though. Will he dive into the natural as well? Looks as though he will, and this Reaper has juked around enough to come in, see the Twilight Council as well. So GuMiho sees everything at the start of this game. Great scouting, and he's starting to piece together the puzzle, which is the build order of our Protoss player in this PVT. So this War Prism's on the way up, but again, it looks as though Super is starting to take his extra gases. Now maybe that was just because the Reaper was here, and he wants to show his kind of a tech-based play rather than all-in. Maybe it's just because it's scouting in general. He's not going to build extra gates and all-in like last time, but rather just go for kind of a pressure-based Blink Stalker opening where he kind of hits the front a little bit, but he's only got like a handful of Stalkers. He's got enough minerals back at home to expand and start teching elsewhere into Immortals, into +1, etc, etc. GuMiho has a Cyclone out of fits. He's seen very early in the game as well, and with this he's also got the couple of racks landing down. Going to start up Stim Pack and Combat Shields in the next couple of moments as well. So getting his upgrades going, getting set up in towards his mid game now. As we see the Starport beginning to build, and the factory just going to be building up a reactor in a couple of moments. Plenty of Stalkers warping in. Again, it's only 3 gateways, so this isn't Super roll in like last time. We just see Super starting his third Nexus back at home. As the first CC does try and land in position. I see a few Marines already in a little bit of trouble here. Cyclone is going to lock onto one of those Stalkers. Does lift into the War Prism to cancel that as Blink. Well, actually no Blink just yet, but he will kind of have a secondary Blink with kind of the ability to lift up into the War Prism. So we will see this. Well, the CC going to take quite a lot of damage actually. I mean, this is a lot of Stalkers. It's going to get very low. Should not die though, right? SCV should get here in time. Well, wow. If CC falls, that's devastating for GuMiho. Wow, so much damage done here with so little commitment. I mean, obviously he's warping in Stalkers, but it's only 3 gateways. He's got a third base about to finish at home. Double Forge is coming down. And well, this is This is crazy. I mean, he's done so much. Killing the third CC is huge. Does he see the supply depot here? Not quite, because that would be another nice little thing to pick away at. Just force another supply depot out of his opponent. Observe on the high ground, given the vision to be able to trade against these Marines, which without stim, without medevacs out, are slowly dying to these Stalkers. Great, great blinks away, keeping the Stalkers very high on health. You're going to see the reactor is not going to go down, I don't think. I think that will end up staying alive here. +1/+1 resonating glaives on the way. No further tech yet from our cross player outside of just this +1/+1 and resonating glaives. And maybe that means we see just a big commitment to Stalker Adept into the mid game, and maybe no real tech coming out apart from the upgrades and the Twilight Council upgrades. It's definitely something that's viable. It's something that up until a certain point you can trade very well actually with just Adepts and Stalkers with Blink available. Great force field here, actually trapping a bunch of those Marines down into the low ground now. Medevacs will come in to try and help out and pick those up, evacuate, and they will get away, but not before a few more have gone down. As I think Super, as he sees the Medevacs, should start to think maybe that it's time to go back home instead of staying over here. I mean, it's not like he's just denying the third CC from being, built or anything. He's like, he's killed the third CC, so it's completely denied already. As now we're going to see the big drop onto the low ground. And here we go. This is what I was kind of watching for, This is why it's kind of maybe was time for Super to go back home, but does he just have enough to fight against this anyway? Well, the sentries are being targeted down, and after the sentries go down, there's not really that many Stalkers left over. The force field on the ramp will dissipate, and we'll see a few more deaths being warped in. Still really good control out of Super, blinking back, lifting a Stalker or two into the warp prism every single time. And a few more Adepts warping in, trying to keep up with this fight, keep up with this engagement. A few Adepts moving forwards, and there's a few more units coming out of our turn play. It looks like GuMiho will break out of this position. He has a +1 lead, and that helps out a lot in this, as we do see a couple of Adepts and 3 Stalkers make it out of there alive. But again, you imagine he just moved away from this kind of a minute or two earlier, backed away just a little bit sooner, and then just warped in some units back at home, and then went in for another fight again when he has his own 1/1 upgrades, when the upgrades are even in this game. Well, things could be looking a lot different, I can tell you that much at least, as we are seeing Super poising as though he might want to go attack again. Resonating Glaives now finished, he starts up 2-2 immediately also, as he currently has that +1 armor lead. +1 armor just on the way up for GuMiho, not there just yet though. +2 Liberators on the way in the production tab, so continue to get his own tech rolling. As you see, a couple of forces coming down, splitting up a lot of these bio units. There's that Immortal coming into play as well. These Adepts, so tanky, especially with the +1 armor advantage, and they also two-shot those Marines right now to some extent as well. I mean, I guess not because there's combat shields on, but that's kind of a useless thing to say. I'm so used to saying that. It's one of the things that you're used to saying. I'm used to saying that because lately you've seen a lot of fast forge builds or fast upgrade builds where with a fast +1 or a late, no +1 armor from the Terror, and reducing them Adepts two-shotting. You see them doing two-shotting their SCVs, because not applied into the Marines because they have combat shields. So we see a reactor and a depot going down. Marines, Marauders, a few medevacs still alive up on the high ground and holding position. But man, is this going to be tough. The 3rd CC was trying to rebuild down here, I think, and it got cancelled again. Scan getting rid of an observer. But that's about it. I mean, Scan getting rid of an observer, +2/+2s on the way for our pros, so no upgrade lead any longer until that +2/+2 finishes, but that's not far away at all. Probably has Chrono Boost on them forges as well, yep, so getting them nice and quick. 4th base is up behind all of this, and this game really just stopped going GuMiho, and didn't, kind of fell away from GuMiho when he lost the 3rd CC. As soon as you lose that 3rd CC, that's a really, really brutal position to be in. He needed to lift that and get it out of there ASAP, and he just took too long to do that. As you see, more and more Stalkers, Adepts, a couple of Immortals over here. A couple of High Templar coming in now, so we're going to start to see some Archons having on. A lot of army supply actually for our turn play, for our pros player. Archon needs to make sure it's going to be able to get towards the front of this army. You see a scan coming down, clean out another observer. We're going to see the Adepts will essentially be kind of a free scan up to the high ground. And here we'll see, well, a main base is landing as the 3rd now. And we'll see him kind of probably not fighting into this position, because realistically, how do you fight into Liberators set up like this? You just don't. So, Super basically has to say, right, fine, I'm not going to attack into this, but what I can do in the meantime is I can harass with the Warp Prism, and, just set it back at home. Extra upgrades, Storms on the way, +3/+3s on the way. We have the 4th Nexus built and starting to mine gas. He's just going to set up into everything. We're actually going to see these Adepts are going to cancel. He wants to come in, he wants to see what's going on in the natural, in the 3rd at the same time. He's actually getting a fair few work kills. This comes into the natural too. You will see in the main base actually a complete lack of main base, because that means he now is going to realize the fact the 3rd base is down here. At the same time, he also pushed up this ram, attacked into them. Liberators picked those off. Woodermine's been a bit of a nuisance though without an observer nearby as he comes up this ramp once again, and GuMiho's being pulled all over the place to deal with these few depths. A force field on the ramp, and that's going to be goodbye main base orbital, and goodbye any chance of GuMiho. Even if he, if there was a way to come back into this, it is gone now. Super crafting this beautifully executed kind of attack to make sure his opponent was kind of pulled out of position to give him a way to actually attack up into free base without having to wait too much longer. So you're going to see this big drop on loading over here. GuMiho's army supply is very even still actually. About to get 2 upgrades, so upgrades are about to be even as well. As we see, Super losing a few adepts here, a few adepts there, and needs to kind of be careful with this engagement. Stalkers may want to start working their way through the medevacs and get rid of some of those. You're going to see a few stalkers over here. Big blink forwards. Immortals in the back. Adepts actually can't really attack now because the medevacs, the stalkers are taking the space, but the medevacs go down. GG is called. Game 2 goes the way of Super. Blue Star Masters number 4. To the upper right side of the map is going to be our blue Terran player representing Team MVP, who have won every single Douyu Star Master so far with an array of players. To the upper right, it's our blue Terran player. It is a GuMiho. To the bottom left, our red Protoss player representing Afrika Freaks will be Super. Down to the bottom left side of Orbital Shipyard. As we see a Cybercore on the way up for him, a Nexus on the way up, a CC on the way up. Very standard way to kick off into this best of 5 game number 3. So, this probe going to be coming up here. And we're going to see this probe coming in and just coming back home after scouting across the map is basically just seeing it's, some kind of Reaper-based expand. So he's got the information he needs for the very early stages, and that's what this Reaper is hoping to pick up on now as well. Wants to confirm there's an expansion up from his opponent, and just try and see, of course, a little bit later on, what sort of tech tree his opponent might be going into as well. As this Reaper comes in, and just going to kind of pop a shot onto the Nexus. The Reaper just pulling back a little bit, as again, seeing the Nexus kind of stage 1 of this. He didn't see the Robo, right? Oh, he did. Wow. So he sees the Robo too. So great, actually, a scout from GuMiho. As we wait to see what Super's plan is. Twilight Council again. Now he did this twice against Alive, but he did go for 2 different builds each time. Maybe this time he decides to go for the all-in version. Maybe this time he goes into Dark Templar. In fact, we've seen this 3 times from him today. Now it's actually been 3 different variations of the build. So I kind of like this. Let's stop following that Reaper before we get dizzy. As you see, the natural CC is finished. The third CC is on the way down. Very similar build to the last game. Once again from GuMiho, who goes into a second Rax. His factory is building a tech lab. And he's just looking to head in towards a Cyclone in the early stages of this. Blink is starting from Super, so it was once again going to be Blink-based play. Now, he's got 2 gates on the way up. Again, does he add 2 extra gates, go up to 5 like he did? I can't remember, what map did he do on? I think it was Dusk Towers he did it on against Alive. Of course, last time around, I mean, that last build was great for him, and this is so far is very similar. But there we go, extra gates, and just the lack of gases here really kind of telling of the fact that there's going to be some extra gates on the way up, basically. And we're going to see 4 gates being built at once, as these first 2 do finish up pretty quickly, though. And that's going to be 5 gates in total. Observer on the way across the map. Warp Prism soon to follow. Blink coming up to being about halfway done. Now, when you look at this from GuMiho's point of view, what does he have to defend? Well, not a lot right now. He's set up to defend from a Warp Prism with the Cyclone, but more so to kind of defend from drop play, to defend from oracles, etc. Not so much to deal with a full-on attack where the Warp Prism's just reinforcing it at the front. So it's going to be a little bit troubling where, while there's basically only Marines on the map, if you can get some Marauders up, then fine, but he's going to be very mineral-starved and even a little bit gas-starved in terms of, starting to starport, etc. at the same time, if he starts making Marauders. So he's only going to be making Marines, and without combat shields, without stim, then Marauders are going to be, then Marines are going to be very easily picked away at by these Stalkers, which are coming in towards the front. We're going to see an extra few warping in right now, so there's already, what, 7 here, 8 here? And we've got another Observer coming across the map too, as Super begins to take a 3rd base behind this, as he will start to fight at the front, and already 2 supply depots going to go down. GuMiho will hit a supply block, a heavy supply block, because he's only just got 1 depot building at the moment. And we're going to see that, ooh, he doesn't have Blink yet, right? Okay, he doesn't have Blink, so the Cyclone does take a kill. Observer, that's the sort of thing he should have been moving away. I think Super should get to this point, especially if he does this a lot, should maybe realize, like, you know, his opponent will figure out that there's some kind of high ground vision, and that he's probably going to scan to get rid of it. As you do see, scan to get rid of another observer, as the high ground vision still here, allowing Super to continue fighting this. The Cyclone in the back very useful, as Blink's starting to come in. We're going to see the Warp Prism moving forward. Let's be careful with that Cyclone. If it locks onto it, that's goodbye reinforcements, but the Stalkers are winning out over here. There's that Cyclone going down. Now the Warp Prism can come back in. A few Marauders starting to come out, but there's only 2 and a couple of Marines, and that's not good at all. As the Stalkers make their way up this ramp, they'll come in, they'll look to see what they can shut down. Big Blink forwards actually on top of the Marauders. 1 Marauder, 2 Marauder go down. A few more Stalkers coming in to reinforce this, and the problem is, you know, Super has the momentum now, and he has more production as well, so he has the momentum, he has more units coming in every few moments, and even if Stim is about to finish, it's not going to be soon enough, and Super takes game number 3, and this series continues to be very relevant. Something which you guys may or may not be interested in taking part in. If you're a sub, then you definitely should take part, because you've already subscribed, so you may as well take part. There's no reason not to, unless you really don't want to play StarCraft. Yeah, that'll be coming up later today at 6 PM, 7 PM CET perhaps? It's 6 o'clock my time, right? Which is good, because I might have to go out and go see my grandmother before we cast that, so we might do that straight after this. As we jump into game number 4. Let's see if we can hit 1,000 viewers throughout at some point in this, guys. We've been very close a couple of times. Let's see if we can hit game number 4. In game number 4, 1,000 viewers. We're getting there. We're very close. Getting closer and closer each time. Let's see if we can make it. To the bottom left side, our Blue Terran player representing Team MVP. Let's hear it if you're cheering on GuMiho. As his opponent to the upper right will be the Red Protoss player from Team Afrika Freaks. If you're a Protoss fan, if you're cheering on Super, let's hear it in the chat right now. Cross spawns makes this a much more difficult map for what we've seen of Super's playstyle so far, to some extent. I mean, in general, I suppose if he gets the Warp Prism out, he can warp in aggressively and so on, and that sort of thing. So, well, yeah, I'm not too sure. When's the next Team League match? I'm hoping to have some replays to cast for Team League tomorrow, if teams actually send me the replays instead of risking getting themselves disqualified from the tournament by not sending me them. So hopefully we have them very soon. And then we'll have... what else will we have? We'll have definitely Team League on Friday and Saturday, I believe. As we have this pro coming down towards the bottom left side of the map. Super looking to scout his opponent out here and just see what is going on at the start of this. Again, it's back into very standard plays, just Reaper expand, Gate expand, both players with a fast Nexus, fast command center on the way down. So Reaper's just scouting around, seeing what's up. Probe actually gets in for a scout as well and sees it is going to be a factory-based follow-up. Let's just give a bit of extra information. I mean, this has been what it's been every single time so far from GuMiho. But actually, more importantly to see is the second gas not being taken yet, which is a lot of the time very suggestive of a third CC or further racks play if you've gone for, you know, either further racks play or third CC if you're going into a factory. But probably not a starport necessarily, because you can't afford a starport and units really out of this factory unless it's a kind of a Widowmine play, which it is going to be from GuMiho. So in general, a few different things that Super might be thinking of now that will kind of help him out a little bit into figuring out what is going on. Go GuMiho says Light Rush in the chat. Woo, cheering, woo, yay, says Puphead. That's the spirit. Protoss says Sated. Go Gumi bro, says our barcode chatter. GUMIHO with some PogChamps from CEMN. Exciting stuff, exciting stuff. Good to see a few people cheering on Super. Good to see a few of you guys cheering on GuMiho at the start of game number 4. GuMiho is down a game. We've actually been seeing some really great finals throughout the Douyu Star series. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of really great finals. We saw we've never had a 3-0. Oh, we have had a 3-0 just already once, but I think 40 symbol last week was very good. I actually enjoyed all the finals so far, and you can check out all the finals from last week on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SC2improve. You see Adeptus pulling away, just scout up into the main. And that's some good information. Sees the starport, and we'll see the couple of racks building too. So it knows this probably isn't a fast third CC build. Super just starting to kind of, you know, whittle away at the certain things that this could be. Twilight Council starts up that blink tech once again, and Super very similar opening once again, but with, again, the different kind of, you know, variations he does of it, he keeps it fresh. You'll see a few Marines unloading over here, so they're not actually going to commit to an attack across the map, as we do see 2 more gates, 3 more gates up. Wow, so this time it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be aggression once more out of Super. Just this time with 6 gates worth of stalks instead of the 5 we saw in the last game. And it worked out for him last game. Let's see if it works out for him again here. Phone overcharge. Sorry, not phone overcharge, just mothership core attacking down onto this. Onto these unbuildable plates. You're going to see a cyclone coming across the map to try and see what is going on, try and see what's up. GuMiho doesn't have very much at home just yet. Just a few Marines, a single medevac. And, well, Super, potentially with an opportunity to get a bit more aggressive here once again in the very near future. You'll see the cyclone coming in. It's from the top watchtower. Will probably come down towards the bottom watchtower very shortly as well. Super is just waiting to move across the map. War Prism is not being built just yet. I mean, he's on 6 gates. This is aggression, right? You know, I mean, he's not taking a third base anytime soon. Scan comes down to pick off an observer. Is there really no War Prism still on the map? I was convinced I just missed it, but no, there's no. He's going to take. Is he going to take a third off of 6 gates? Really? Wow. Okay. Well, it's a lot of stalkers he's invested into to not really do very much so far. So the third base is really. I really do find the third base very interesting. Off of 6 gates. I mean, it gives him a lot of production to work with, and he can still be sort of aggressive with this. Resonating Glaives on the way. I think he'll go for kind of a lot of stalkers, a lot of adepts in the mid game, and go for kind of a lot of mid game trades, and kind of keep the army supply of the town player low. As you see, Liberators starting up for GuMiho. Now, that's the exact sort of thing you want when you're going up against kind of big gateway players. The Liberators really start to help out. Even if the Stalkers target down the Liberator, what ends up happening is the Stalkers are targeting down the Liberator. In the meantime, they're taking a bunch of damage off the bios, so a few more adepts warping in, 6 more of them right now. The third base is going to be finishing up shortly, 75% of the way done just now. There's an observer coming in from Super, and just keeping an eye on a third base potentially of GuMiho, but it is just the 4th and 5th racks once again. We've been seeing this a lot today out of town players in TvP. I think every CVP we've been for the most part seeing the 4th and 5th racks before the 3rd CC. Unless it's been an early 3rd CC like what we saw out of GuMiho. So apparently the meta game right now in TvP is to be aggressive again and again as this observer comes in, sees them Marines and a couple of Widow Mines, runs into turret range though and gets detected. As these 2 Liberators down to the south side just looking for a Warp Prism, perhaps try and shut that down. As we have the units coming up towards the upper right side. An Adept and Observer are going to be moving forwards and just trying to keep an eye on where this army is. Again, there's so many gateway units here though for Super, just because of the fact that he's committed into so many gates early that he's taking this third base with a lot of, you know, safety behind it basically. I like this. Sending the Stalkers up into the main base to help deal with any drop play, while leaving the Adepts on the low ground. Of course, then if he needs the Stalkers on the low ground, he can blink them down very quickly to start helping out. The Brits going to start sieging up and putting some pressure and just making it difficult to attack into this position. We'll see a observer just picked up there at the very end. We're going to see a couple of pylons on the way down, and well, this third base is even in a lot of trouble too. The Stalkers are running down to this low ground to try and help, but this is a dead third base, and having committed so much, you know, so many units, you would think he'd be able to defend the third, but he can't really attack into these Liberators. He's kind of let the town player get into too good an aggressive position. Stalkers have to be very careful here, and they just have to back off. As we're going to see the Liberators set up very nicely. Another scan coming down on top of this. Liberator's going to pull away just a little, trying to get another observer. How many observers have gone down in this game? 5 observers, 8 minutes into the game. As we're going to see GuMiho, a big drop up into towards the main. I mean, these phone overcharges then, okay, but the pylons die so quickly. He just pulls them back a little bit. As you see these Stalkers, these Adepts, coming on in towards the main base now. Super hits a supply block as he drops away and continues to push into this position. As we are going to see a Liberator picked off, so that's a small victory now for Super. But behind all of this, GuMiho is continuing to reinforce with 5 racks. His third base is now set up behind all of this as well. As we see another couple of pylons going down too. So a couple more pylons falling as we see the third base for Super going to be established up to the north side now. As he tries to push into this position, but there's so many Liberators. He's going to start taking them down with the sword because the Adept's taking a while to get forced, though not shading into this engagement. And he's going to realize that he actually can't take this fight, but too late already, I think. I think he's already taken too much damage. Liberators should probably try and keep coming forwards here and keep, sieging on top of this army. As GuMiho currently just fighting without the Liberators. Brings the mines forwards too. And he's going to now siege up once again. This pushes the first cross player further back. And pushes him into a GG as well. And that forces finals of the cup. This is the last game of the day. As we get into this. To the bottom right hand side. Our blue Terran player will be from MVP, GuMiho. And to the upper left, our red Protoss player is going to be Super from Afrika Freaks. So, as we get into the 5th and final game, let's see what's going to happen here on Prion Terrace's map. We've not really seen much of in TvP today. As we see, both players will opt for the early expansions once again, so no weird one-base play or anything like that. No fast Stargate or anything. And maybe the Stargate is something Super goes back into now, as he's gone for that Robo Twilight for 3 games in a row. Maybe time to really switch things up. Maybe time to hit the DTs out again. This was the map he DT'd alive on. Now that I think of it, we did see Prion in the last series, so this is the map which he used the Dark Templars on against alive on, and it was very effective. Let's see if it happens once again. As we have the Ripper coming across the map, we've also hit that 1000 viewer mark, so hello everyone, thanks for making it happen. Of course, a huge shout out once again to the Nerd Street Gamers channel, who hit us up with that host to help make this possible. As we have the Ripper just popping away here, and backing away. So, we're going to see Reaper just kind of scanning around, seeing what you can see here. No scout on the Robo facility just yet. And we're going to see the Reaper just backing away. Factory and starport on the way for GuMiho. Very standard stuff so far then here on Prion Terraces, and very similar to just what we've seen in the past. Again, I think our real question will be, is Super, what variation of this Robo Twilight opening is Super going for here, That's what I've kind of got to, that's what I'm kind of asking myself. Because we've seen him do 5-gate aggression, we've seen him try and expand with it, we've seen him 3-gate pressure into an expand. We've seen it, I feel like we've seen it all now. We've seen him go into Blink and DT Shrine. Maybe that's what we see this time around once again, as GuMiho will be having some good splits on the map so far to get some map vision. Actually going to be building the 3rd CC in position here on Prion Terraces at that other gold, so very greedy build out of GuMiho. As he opens with a Cyclone and a Medevac to pressure a bit with these Marines, I imagine. 2 gates on the way up. Now, if Super doesn't see that gold base to the right-hand side soon enough, he might get away with this. And if he gets away with this greed, it might be one of the deciding factors here in the game. There's this Reaper from GuMiho coming up the left-hand side, wanting to jump in. Super, really important to try and get scan information, but Super is already positioned to deny it, and he gets 1-2 shots, but he's not going to deny it completely. But there's not too much to see. He's going to see 3 gates, Twilight, and Robo again. I mean, it's still nice to see, obviously. It's very nice to see. But, he doesn't see, he doesn't know, is this extra gates, is this gas on the natural? He doesn't know how much of a commitment this is. But he maybe finds that out of the Cyclone, as he does see the Warp Prism coming across the map here. And again, it's just going to be a little bit of aggression, a little bit of pressure out of our Protoss player, more so than kind of a big attack. He's gone into a 3rd Nexus very quickly. This is the sort of thing, this is what he won with against Alive, or, this is what he won against Alive with on Dusk Towers, if you remember, way back into the, game number 1 of that semi-final, or game number 2 even. So let's see what he can get done here with this, again, he's not committing much behind this. He's got a lot of Stalkers coming across the map, but he's got 3rd base coming up. He'll take upgrades behind this, like his +1/+1. As Blink finishes, he'll just look to trade a little bit at the front, maybe hop into the main base. If he could cancel Stim, for example, that'd be a really great move for him. You know, any kind of little bit of damage that'll slow the Terran from getting into his own mid-game comfortably is going to be really nice for him here. So we're going to see the Warp Fizzle warping in and adding on a few more Stalkers to this composition, getting ready to jump up in towards this main base. Again, that Stim, not the most exposed we've ever seen Stim pack, as we're going to see maybe a Blink onto that Medevac with a tank in it. That would be brutal, because we're all going to see that tank start to fight on these Stalkers. And I mean, the tank actually adds a lot in this defense, it really does, but GuMiho's still going to have to pull SCVs into this, as these Stalkers just going to be controlling here, training away against a lot of these Marines, which are going to die very quickly before combat shields etc. comes up. As we will see, Super spots the third CC, and that is probably a dead third CC, because GuMiho doesn't have an army to come and defend it. Super sees this now, he'll come in, blink straight away, and yeah, I think that's a dead third CC right away here, unless he gets it far enough away, because there's just, you know, there's not the army to come defend it. Also, once again, fast 3 CC build is going to die to these Stalkers, and this time again it's not that much of a commitment, and so Super gets himself back into what he was doing in game number 2 of this series on Dusk Towers, where he kills the first CC and now he's just got to delay, stay alive, and just trade effectively while holding 2 gold bases of his own. Look at the income difference, 2,000 to 1.3k. It's insane difference in the minerals here, as we might see a blink up, and if he cancels that Stim pack, that'd be huge as well, and things are not going well for GuMiho right now. Widowmine goes down, that Stim goes down, and that puts GuMiho into an even tougher position. A reactor too, and that's a lot of GuMiho's production just kind of gone in an instant, and takes a long time to rebuild a reactor. He's actually going to rebuild double Tech Lab, realizing he needs to get Stim and combat shields probably now at the same time instead. As we're going to see the Stalkers coming in, and another Marine or so killed off. And these Stalkers just going to be backing away. 4th Nexus on the way up for Super. 4th base on the way, playing against a 2-base Terran who is not rebuilding the 3rd base, is just on 2 base, 5 racks, without Stim, without combat shields for another couple of minutes. Super has so much time for his upgrades to finish. He's got so much time to build up his tech tree, to build into Immortal count, to get further upgrades going. DT Shrine on the way, so we'll see some Dark Templar maybe into the main base harassing as well. That being said, there is missile turrets up to help deflect that sort of thing, as we're going to see Adepts and Stalkers going to be coming in, going to start fighting, and going to take off one of these siege tanks, and a lot of Marines going down. GuMiho does not really have the upgrades to fight against this. He's behind an armor upgrade. We see a big blink forward, 1, 2 tanks going down. Just one in the end, actually. It was in a medevac that is targeted, and Super backs away from this. Can't fight into those couple of sieged up tanks, as DT Shrine is down, not being utilized just yet. Adept's going to start shading forwards, and we'll see if Super can put an end to this here. The gold base of the natural here for GuMiho already beginning to mine out as he blinks into the main once again. There goes Stim for the 2nd time this game. And here goes combat shields as well. GuMiho is never going to get into his mid-game. He's never going to hit this point where he's got a bio army with upgrades that can maybe fight, that can maybe trade, maybe make something happen against this Protoss army, against the Protoss' bases. It's just not going to happen, as we see Stalkers, Adepts, and Immortal moving forwards. The Adept shade forwards here. They're going to be able to jump on top of some of these siege tanks perhaps. They're actually going in towards the main. Are they going to commit? A few of them do, just a handful. Just the 3 of them here. And they get, what, a couple of workers, but that'll probably be about it. So not much, just pulling his opponent away, though. And at the same time, into the natural expansion he goes. Attacking India, very similar move to what we saw on Dusk Towers. And it is working once again, as his opponent now up in towards the main base. He's now holding the natural expansion here. He comes forwards, another tank goes down. There's not enough tanks to kill enough of these units fast enough. A depth shade on through to the high ground. GG is called. Super takes the series 3 games to 2 in the finals of the Douyu Star Masters number